Have no fear, guys. The fantasy draft series is going nowhere. Of course, in the past few episodes, a lot of things have changed, and of course, the addition of one interesting piece has really raised the intrigue in this series in wanting to see how our new franchise goalie develops. Because of that, I had to sim a little bit into the new season. We are 3-0, but I wanted to add, as was suggested, a little bit more depth down in Chicago to help them out. Now, we ended up getting the win against Minnesota and then back-to-back wins over the Dallas Stars. So things are looking all right so far. We did pick up an injury to Mikhail Sergachev. He is out for another 11 days or so. So that was a tiny bit of an annoyance. But the big question now moving in is Alex Ovechkin and whether or not he can still perform at a high level. If he can't, he gets traded. Costin and Mateos move up, and we find someone shut down forward as that third line guy, as was also suggested. Jamie Bjugstad was the man that was called up. Now, we need to go best lines down in Chicago, and we are actually good to go. We signed William Karlsson and Reed Gardner. I don't think I showed you guys this. We are so up against the cap right now. It is scary. It is scary. Like, people have been like, wow, how do you manage to fit some of these contracts in? Like, it's ridiculous. I agree with you. It is ridiculous. And I will show you our current contract and cap situation in a moment. I just want to see if there's someone better than Sutter who should be in, and I'd probably rather have a high AHL top six forward in that spot. Let's, though, get Comtois back on that top line. We'll go with Karlsson on the second line and drop Gardner down. What do I want to do here? Shit, I should have double checked with this stuff before moving into the sim. But that is okay. We will figure it out, and everything will be all right. Let's go with McGinn. And then center, Zadina is a center, 75. He's a 71. I'm sorry if this is distracting because of how quick the thing moves, but it is what it is. We are good. So let's go with Comtois, Zadina, Karlsson, and we'll go with Davis, Eggenberger, and Simpson. So there we go. That is set defensively right now, and Andronov is in due to injury, and we will have to go and change the goaltending to make sure that Fedorov is there. Unfortunately, it did sign 2 free agent goalies, which kind of sucks. But Vitaly Fedorov, you are nearly the sole reason as to why this series continues on. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do this year. But let's move forward. Of course, 3-0. We missed those games, but we will be paying attention from this point on. And actually, we will stop the sim after this game and switch to our backup goalie. We actually lose that game, our first loss on the year, an overtime loss to the New Jersey Devils. But let's take a look here. Michael DiPietro will get the chance. How long will he be the backup goalie in St. Louis? Will he... I mean, I imagine he'll last the full year. I don't think Fedorov will approach an 80 overall in one season. If anything, I don't know if Fedorov will be ready for next season. But sooner rather than later, he will be the starting goalie. As we lose again, we lose to the Penguins as well. Disappointing. I should have just simmed halfway through the season, apparently. How did DiPietro do in that game? Not well. 29 saves. Carey Price, as it is, only a .904 save percentage in his 4 appearances. So, goaltending needs to step up, that is for sure. We'll be without Sergachev for this game against Montreal. And I just want to make sure that we're at this menu because we're probably going to have to put him back in the lineup. Actually, no, we won't. I think he's out to the 28th or the 29th. So, never mind. Let's go back to the calendar. We'll sim past this Anaheim game and hope that I am correct about when he's back. That way we don't lose him due to a morale issue. We have lost 4 straight games. We have not won a game yet in this sim. Since we've started this episode. Sergachev is still out. Or did I miss it? I'm going to go back and double check the lineup. Better safe than sorry at this point. But wow, 3-2-2 on the season now. Sergachev is fully healthy. All right, I'm glad we caught that. Let's go back over here and we will send down Bjugstad. We'll get him back into the lineup in Chicago. Not sure why Thomas Chabot is upset. He's been on the second pairing, as he prefers to be, and he has power play time as well. So I'm not quite sure why he's complaining. If he starts complaining now, I would understand. What is his problem? Locker room interactions. Suck it up, Buttercup. There's nothing I can do about that now. So Andronov, we're going to have to take him out of the lineup. He's not the worst prospect in the world, but let's get Jamie Bjugstad back into the lineup, and we will have him on that second pairing with Fierro. That works out well. Not sure how many games Chicago have played. Fedorov is still doing very well for himself, even at a 71 overall. Ovechkin has 4 points so far. That third line not doing too bad. That fourth line struggling a little bit. So let's do a slight change up on the wings there, and we will continue to move forward. We need to start picking up some wins, that is for sure. Carey Price loses here. DiPietro probably comes in against the Calgary Flames because we need some wins. And that is another loss. 5 straight losses for the Blues. Damn, now here I was thinking, okay, yeah, it's cool. I'm starting the episode. We just won 3 games in a row. This is going to be a breeze. No, we are struggling. We are struggling heavily here. Carey Price with an .891 save percentage. Buddy, what is going on? What is going on, man? Jeez, that's just case in point, man. Overall on this game, at least in terms of the sim, you know, when going through these seasons, it's not everything. I mean, we've seen 82 overall goalies win the cup for their team. Mainly in the Bruins series, I think it was Daniel Vladar was like an 82 or an 83 at best. But DiPietro gets the win. He lets up 3 goals to Calgary, but he will stay. We will go. I mean, Jesus, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we trade Carey Price this year because he's just not getting it done? What would we do? Who would we... See, that's the problem with this series. And I understand a lot of people's complaints about, oh, you know, you just make it too easy, it becomes so formulaic. But, for example, if Carey Price is underperforming, his trade value won't necessarily drop. So then what am I to do right now? If we were to decide that, geez, Carey Price just isn't getting it done, look at his value. Who the fuck do you think I'm going to trade him for? Of course I'm going to get a top prospect or some picks. That'd be the only fair thing to do. What am I going to do? Trade him for a half-decent goalie now that can be in a tandem with DiPietro and a half-decent prospect? Like, no. You know, I mean, the only way to keep this mode realistic is to handcuff and shortchange yourself on trades like that. I also forgot to show you our cap situation. Under $900,000, which is rough. But you get my point about Carey Price. I would like to think that we don't have to trade him, but you never know. You never know. He will play against the 5-5-1 Chicago Blackhawks, but it is so early on in the season, it is impossible to know who the top teams are. But DiPietro's doing okay. He is doing okay. We're not going to change anything here. Ovi's doing all right. 10 points so far this season. Davidson hasn't done too much. We'll leave that. We'll leave the bottom 6 the same. Obviously, it would be nice to get Mateos into a top 6 spot. But for now, Ovi is still performing at a high level. And that's another thing. If we get rid of Ovechkin, what do you think we're going to get in return? Unless we, purposefully just screw ourselves on that trade. Of course, we're going to get a strong prospect in return. But anyway, Carey Price finally gets a win. He beats the Blackhawks after DiPietro lost to them the night before in the shootout. Price, 2 straight wins, so things are looking good. Even though he lost to the Rangers, he will get these next 2 games at the very least. Potentially 3, because if he loses these next 2 games, we will... Oh, God, here come the injuries. Dylan Strome goes down. I was going to say we'll put DiPietro in against LA instead. Who can we call up and risk losing? Probably Brett Davis. So Brett Davis gets a chance as Strome goes down to injury. Lovely. Is Davis technically a center? I really don't want to have to go best lines here. Can Davis play center? I want to be lazy. He can't. Shit. Okay. So we're going to have to go best lines. That's going to fuck up the power play. No, I don't. Stop. Best lines. Damn it. God damn it. So let's do this and this. Let's get Mateos into that spot. 76 face-offs. We'll get Mateos into that spot. We'll have Davidson, Jost, and then who do we want there? Let's put Lavin. And then we will go with Zaka, Davis, and Bellerive. That's looking all right. That was looking all right. And then defensively, you will Levy, Doughty, Sergachev, Liger, and that's looking fine. Power play units, we're going to have to take Koltsov out of there just to make sure Thomas Chabot gets a little bit of time, but that's not too big of an issue. I don't know how far we're going to get into the season. You guys know me. Normally, I like to get, or if you don't know me, because, of course, you're could be one of the many people that are new to the channel as of late, which, welcome aboard. I promise I won't disappoint you too much, but I will disappoint you often. So, have low expectations is what I'm saying. We'll get Markov into the lineup. We'll just leave, actually, here. We'll drop him down to the 4th line. I like to get to the All-Star break. I don't think that's going to happen. We're only in November, and we are quite a bit of a ways into this episode time-wise. So this is going to be a little bit rough. We'll start Carey Price against Anaheim. DiPietro will play against LA, and then he'll play next weekend as well, probably against the Calgary Flames, but we are back on top of this division with 25 points, 10-3-5. At least we are losing in overtime or the shootout. That is pretty helpful. But DiPietro gets a chance. He hasn't played in a while. We'll just go advanced day. Do we get the win? We have 25 points. We now have 27. Michael DiPietro with the W. And we're starting to build. Knock on wood here. I really don't want to jinx us. But we're starting to build a little bit of momentum. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice that a team with this defense, Carey Price and Connor McDavid, that we're winning games? You would think that we would, especially after last year, of course, with the way that went. But let's see here. The next 3 games Carey Price gets before DiPietro plays the second game of a back-to-back. We continue to win against Arizona. We lose to Edmonton. Can we beat the Sharks, please? Well, we get a trade offer, a 3rd-round pick for O'Byrne. Is O'Byrne, he is top 9. Huh. You know what? I might take that. I'm not too impressed with medium top 9 as a potential, and he is 22 years old. The only thing I'm concerned about is that we just signed him in July, and is it too early? But I'm going to accept this, because if it is too early to trade him, then I blame the game, because the game is the one that sent the trade offer. So don't screw me here, EA. How about that? You sons of bitches. They would too. That is something they would do. Apparently he was very well liked in the Chicago locker room. That might have been a mistake, but I see draft picks, and if you watch my series, you know, if there's a draft pick, I am probably going to go for it. But DiPietro gets another chance here. I do want to check down in Chicago. Fedorov still a 71, not making any progression, but he has a .930 save percentage in 17 games as a 71 overall. So yeah, there's no chance that he makes the team this year. But the progression he gets between the end of this season and next, the upcoming offseason for him is going to be huge, because he is, if he doesn't end up being like a 78 overall at the start of next year, I'd be shocked. And I don't think he makes the team until 2 years down the line, judging by the fact that he hasn't progressed at all. Like, even DiPietro is going up in certain attributes. So unless all of a sudden that changes and we check a week from now and he's gone up 4 overall points, but I mean, which crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. The infamous Vancouver series proved that pretty much anything's possible with this damn mode. I forgot to scout. That is okay, as we get to move into December. So Carey Price will not play against the Eastern Conference team, the New Jersey Devils. So DiPietro will get to play sooner rather than later. Price shuts out the Bruins 2-0, the only time I'll even slightly be happy to say that in my lifetime. Unless, well, no, there is no unless, really. I mean, there isn't too much, no, there isn't anything that could, yeah, I was right the first time. You're wrong. Sorry, I'm just, it's been a weird day. If you first watched the Bruins episode and then watch this, you get it. If you didn't watch the Bruins episode and you're going to watch it after this, that nonsense that just came out of my face will make a lot more sense in just a few minutes. Anyway, getting back to this, DiPietro against the Devils, who are pretty good this year, and we lose 3-2. That is unfortunate. Carey Price, though, will be getting a lot of ice time here as we try to at least make it to the new year before ending this episode. Damn, Strome has been out for quite a while. How's that fourth line looking? Not great. Davis does have 5 points. How's that third line looking? Lavin, not too bad. Not too bad. Only 2 goals for Mateos. And his shot accuracy isn't amazing, that's for sure. But Ovi is doing very well. So I don't know if we'll trade Ovechkin. I can't say that for sure. And it's not as if we really need the help. Although, this team is certainly looking like it's due for a retooling. There are some players that we have that are clearly not going to make it. And I think Bellerive might be someone like that. I know it's pretty early to call that, but he just seems like the type of player that isn't going to progress the way you would like him to. Both these teams are pretty good, so we will go with Price for the next 2 weeks, basically. DiPietro will start against the Edmonton Oilers. And taking a look, our record's looking good. The Chicago Wolves, not so much. Not so much for the Wolves. Not at all. Which is crazy that Fedorov has the save percentage that he does, considering that fact. But we are breezing through the month of December, picking up wins for the most part along the way. Dave McCabe goes down to injury in Chicago. Should have just hit assistant coach, replace player, as my dog makes her presence felt. Or known. That's just, yeah, he's just sleeping over there. Or was. Anyway, Kennan's fast or Rhodes? Like, why can't I hit the right trigger to sort through? EA, you're just the worst. It's just so inconvenient. That's really what it is. Just death by 1,000 inconveniences. Not even cuts. That is what this mode is. No, that's right. We were going to keep Price in against Minnesota. I was about to say I should have switched the goaltender. Is Dylan Strome healthy? I don't think so. He might be. I cannot remember when he was supposed to be back. Not at all clearly, though. Not for this game, but he will be back soon. DiPietro can you get us another win here as you play the Oilers, who aren't that great? We're on 47 points, and after this game, we're up to 49. A good win there. Strome is healthy, which means Brett Davis, who hasn't been terrible, 5 points. That's not awful, but he is going to have to be sent back down, which is a shame, but I believe he's the only forward that can be sent down. Davis, Bellerive, Lavin, or Mateos. You know what? If it wouldn't kill his overall, I'd probably send Mateos down because his stats, in hindsight, I probably could have taken a little bit of a better look. Like, the potential for him is absolutely still there, but shot accuracy is a concern. Puck skills, that is a concern. And defensively, he's okay. Shot blocking is a little bit low. It's intriguing to me that he's an 87 overall. I mean, the trade itself just worked out. You know, it was perfect to be able to pick him up. Obviously, the Jack Eichel deal. But, yeah, maybe not the greatest. Lavin's doing well, so he's not going anywhere. Bellerive has 5 points, and he's progressing. Davis also has 5 points, and he's progressing. I don't really want to send him down. Pavel Zacha, also improving. He has 9 points. Damn it. I got to send somebody down. Bellerive or Davis? It's got to be Davis. I am sorry. You're improving, but you gots to go. You gots to go. I am sorry. So we will go best lines here again. We will try to fix this team up. It's crazy to me that it puts Jost on the second line. We'll leave that the same. Defensively, that's looking fine. I'm going to see if Shabbat complains because I'm going to leave Koltsov in there. And then Davis needs to be brought into the lineup for Kennons, and we will get him right back on the top line. That's what I'm trying to say. Am I running out of steam? No, man, not at all. Not at all. What would make you think that? Let's get this episode over with. Carey Price between the pipes. Hopefully. I don't remember did I remember to put Carey Price back in? Jesus, I'm losing it. I did. Okay. Man. Too many line changes. Too many line changes. We have 5 games left to go in 2021. Let's do this. We beat Detroit. Dave McCabe is healthy. For the Wolves, I'm not too concerned, really, about putting him back into the lineup. I'm hoping we can just avoid injury and we can breeze through these last few games because I am going to have to put DiPietro back in the lineup. But let's see. Nashville, not that great of a team this year, and we beat them 5-2 as we should. Dallas, not that great of a team, and they shut us out 2-0. Alrighty then. Well, regardless, we are still going to at least lead the division by 5 points, which isn't as crazy as our leads have been in the past, but is still pretty damn decent. So let's sim here. DiPietro against the pretty solid Philadelphia Flyers, and we lose in regulation. Disappointing, but that brings to an end the year 2021 in this sim, and that is where we stop. That will bring this episode at least closer to a close. We'll quickly take a look at the stats before actually ending this episode. But yeah, it is January 1st, 25, 9-5 for the Blues, 16, 12, and 3 for the Wolves. So not too bad. The Minnesota Wild, though, really looking like they're going to give us a run for our money this year. Let's go throughout the entire league. We are the top team in the league. Toronto, though, has a good chance of passing us. Goals for. We are currently 5th in scoring in the NHL. Goals against per game, 5th. So, yeah, that's at least consistent. The power play, middle of the road. We're going to have to look at improving that. The penalty kill, also middle of the road, low end, middle of the road. So our special teams definitely something that we are going to have to take a look at, which, again, injuries has affected that. Connor McDavid, though, leads the team in points. Our top line, all at least point-a-game players. I don't see how we can get rid of Ovi. I don't at this point. Drew Doughty doing well. Clayton Keller, Davidson, and Mateos both at 21 points. That's not too bad at all as you get a look at the rest of the team. Very surprised, man. Liljegren, only 4 points. Thomas Chabot, only 3 points. Oh, shit. And there it is. There it is, because of ice time. Yep, Thomas Chabot. I was worried about that. We took him off of the power play. We didn't edit him back onto the power play lines. So the next episode becomes a challenge as to whether or not we can get Thomas Chabot to recover. If not, we might have to trade him. We'll probably look to switch him to a two-way defenseman as well. Same with Liljegren, who despite 96 passing, has 3 assists, which is mind-boggling to me. But yeah, so we have some interesting questions and interesting issues that we will have to tend to in the next episode. DPH are not doing too bad. Carey Price has rebounded fairly well, so we're not going to have to trade any of the big names. Thomas Chabot right now is looking like the player that we are most likely to lose. Let's quickly take a look at the rookie scoring race. And right now, Suzuki, Burkhoff, Rosehill, and Davidson is actually a Calder contender, as is David Lavin. So we have a chance to maybe take home a Calder, which is not something we have done in too many of my series. DiPietro, also a rookie, but he won't be playing enough games to win. McDavid, Ovechkin, and Dowcall, top 3 in NHL scoring. But like I said, the big problem now is whether or not we can get Thomas Chabot to recover. And at the end of the day, we could trade him, and I wouldn't be too upset about it, and we could get a third pairing shutdown defenseman. But like I said, guys, that is it for this one. I hope you did enjoy. Of course, if you did, support the channel, support the video, support me in any way you deem necessary. Let me know down in the comments below what you think we should do, particularly with Thomas Chabot. Should we give him time, or should we just trade him now and make the most of it? But I'm out of here, guys. Let me know. Looking forward to your feedback, and I will see you next time.